الله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. Respective siblings in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Ramadan Kareem, Ramadan Mubarak. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the best of it in this life as well as in the hereafter. It is with great sorrow that I must mention the following upon one who has decided clearly to stand for discrimination, racism, among other things, adultery. The biggest in which the individual was being pinned on, basically, was being mainly investigated for by the coalition here in Richmond, Virginia, which he did admit and he was being counseled on, was mockery against the Quran, capital crime. And he and his accomplice at that time did say and admit to that. There were some business transactional pending charges against him as well, and those were also being negotiated, in other words, being finalized. He was being worked on those. Unfortunately, it was not our prime source, as it never is, to target any individual. These happen to be major concerns which we here were dealing with, including the Hasana, because again, this is a moral responsibility. A student of the institution is found to be deemed utilizing manners of hypocrisy, rebellion, criminal activities which stem from making mockery against the Quran. Unfortunately, the family of the individual did practically make it seem to me, well, actually not in a practical sense, more so in a clearer sense, that they were waiting for our take and our response on how to deal with an adulterer who is actually serving on current board members and is deemed also to be in various Masjids, particularly in the West End. This individual was registered with the ICR, and I myself did teach this individual Al-Quran. As of yesterday morning, I did let any student who he is teaching know that we have exhausted all possible avenues in getting him to change and forthcoming, particularly being sincere. We were unsuccessful at that, and therefore we let all students know who are studying under Muhammad Mustafa Palestinian, who is the Ramadan in-laws. And again, we do apologize and just want to make sure that the Ramadan family knows that it was not a question of an individual and a family matter. We did want also to give the family the opportunity. On top of that, the charges which were mentioned, and now the most recent action has definitely proved that arrogance is too much in there. When a person feels that they have so much wealth or they have so much influence and exploit others, using their business as sex traps for young white girls and black girls, and practically anybody who is pretty and destitute and needs money. They have, and we have found in the business practices that is there. We also have found that even within the Masjids, in which are currently about to observe Ramadan, this type of behavior has been ongoing and wants to take advantage of organizational leadership and community development so that they can make more profit and have more influence. However, the misinformation is that The authority belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We all know that. And we are going to, just as, every Western Hemisphere entity in terms of Islamic affairs is asked, one ayah in the Quran is at question for all of the financial developments for the people. The People's Republic is La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It does not look very good that at this point you have, or any of us will not stand for what is true and which is right. We are not the Pope, unfortunately, to where we hide the truth when we have these type of sex crimes and other known atrocities against the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm sorry, but it is our responsibility to morally stand for that, stand for the truth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask us about it. The Ramadan family, yes, I did speak to the in-laws as of 3 days ago. 2 days ago, rather, I did also let everyone know who is learning Quran from the individual Muhammad Mustafa, the Palestinian. He's short, he has a beard, he sits on the board there at the Al-Madinah school. We want to make sure that we're making it very clear that we are definitely not going to stand for any kind of corruptions. Because at the end of the day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to ask us, what did you do about it? So why did you do that about it? So this is, clearly our responsibility. We came into this world as servants of Allah. We live in this world as servants of Allah. And we will leave this world as servants of Allah, inshallah. Anyone who would like to bring up any refutations, and I'm going to call on all of the imams, anyone who's given a khatib in Richmond, Virginia, in the West, in the Chesterfield, in the North, in the South Side, anywhere, bring the refutations for either the first ayah which has been placed, bring the refutations for the racism and discrimination which is clearly been cited in all of the centers, all of the centers. All of the Masjids, practically, and it's not about color, unfortunately. People have to come to terms that we have to deal with our problems. The Shirk is there. Shirk, again, polytheism instead of monotheism is there. We know that is there, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, and all of us know that is there. Maybe a lot of those khatibs haven't called it out. Abul Harith, come. Imam Sufyan Ababil, come forward. Imam Ihab, come forward. Imam Ammar Islamic Center, come forward. Come with the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and talk sense, and we will have a discussion about why and how this has definitely been cited and what to do about it. We are not talking about any hostilities, although a lot of hostilities has been done upon us. We're going to set that aside. That belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to deal with. We know that, He is all entitled and capable for that. Anyhow, any of the imams, Imam Shahid, come forward. Anybody who feels that they want to refute or dispute these allegations that we're putting forward at this time in order to proceed with the People's Republic of La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, do so with the authority of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or you actually do have the option of simply keeping quiet. Otherwise, jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.